What is going on, guys? Marcin here, and today I'm kind of excited and kind of bummed out. So let me explain the excited part. The excited part is that the software that I use released Ecamm released a dual view where I can record the video for YouTube and at the same time video for my like reels or highlights or whatever. So I'm excited about that. Nothing that you would probably care about. But the other thing is I'm a little bummed because I wanted to apologize for my voice. Joanna actually went for a little trip to Connecticut, came back with flu and probably some extras, and I got some of it. So if my voice breaks through the recording, I apologize, but still decided to go through it because it's Thursday and we got to break down another piece of the puzzle for photography business. Today, specifically, there was a question that, if I recall correctly, John was asking about Pixieset because at one of the episodes I did cover like the setup and the building of the gallery in Pixieset, and Pixieset is just one of the tools, one of the solutions for using galleries for your clients to download photos and for you to be able to control like slideshows, and there's like an office part in Pixieset. But without going deep, we did go over the galleries, but we didn't touch the store part of Pixieset, which is where you kind of set your pricing and you connect it to like an external lab depending on what you're doing. Some photographers handle the photos themselves. Some photographers like to have a hands-off approach, meaning they send it out to some photographers basically print photos on their own. Let's say you have a printer in your office, in your studio space, and you're printing, let's say, enlargements, right? Or maybe you have another vendor that you work with local that you can just send files to and pick up and send to your clients. That's one way to do it. So it's like a self-fulfillment kind of a thing. So when clients buy, they pay online through Pixieset and you do the fulfillment. And the other part is where you connect it to an existing lab. One of the like, there's different options, different labs in US that you can use. And I'm sorry for those of you that are outside of US. I'm not sure if those labs are on a list. Never tried because I never had to. But for US, you have the labs, and I'm sure that even if you're outside of US, you're still using US labs sometimes. Or a lot of times. So that's what we're gonna go through today. I wanted to actually, so typical approach. I'm gonna walk you through the sort of high level stuff and the principle, and then I'll show you. We'll cover a little bit of like approach. What are the like different strategies that photographers use before we actually look at the gallery, and then I'm gonna try to like squeeze it in and just show you a little bit of Pixieset and the settings and where you actually go to set it up. It's actually pretty easy, at least in my head. We'll see how that will look in practice, but that's what we're tackling today. So, if you're going to be watching this, because I'm actually testing it out, like a longer version of a reel, maybe, because I'll try to post it to maybe my Facebook platform just to test it out. If I go to a demo mode, the screen could be kind of small. So if you really want to see, because this is a tactical video, we're going to be actually looking through settings. You may want to go to the YouTube channel and check it out. And how do you do that? You can look at, can I flash a fastest way a QR code? For those of you guys that are on YouTube, you can see the QR code. When you scan it, you can reach out to me with questions. You can always leave comments. And the other thing, all the videos, all the training, any additional stuff that you would like to propose, ask me. You can also go to proimageacademy.com/school. In school, I'm laying everything out. I mean, you'll have an opportunity to not only ask questions, but post stuff. You can share things. So right now, I have a deal where everybody just kind of rolls in. First 100 people, there's really no paywall, nothing. It's just, you just have to sign up. That's all. So again, proimageacademy.com/school. And I think for maintenance items, that is it. I'm diving deep just because I want to preserve my voice today. So let's take a look at the slides on my end, at least. kind of checks out. Looks like you guys may be able to see everything correctly. All right. And first thing, first slide. Again, Pixieset is more than just delivery. A lot of people use it just for clients to like they upload all the photos there, and then they send out a link, the invitation with the pin code or whatever password maybe for the gallery, and that's really where they stop. They don't really link it for any type of sales. Most photographers use galleries only to handle files, but Pixieset can be a powerful revenue engine. So you can basically don't think of it as like you're going to be making, doubling your sales with just sending out a link, but you may be making, I don't know, let's say 2%, 5%, maybe 10%, so it adds up. Very often, it really depends on how many engagements, meaning, sessions, weddings, family sessions, portraits you're taking. It adds up. It usually adds up to a good amount, good chunk of cash to be used for a lot of times like equipment purchases. You can definitely buy a new camera. You can definitely buy new lenses. If you're looking for lighting equipment, like that's going to be enough money throughout the year. So when people buy, let's say you're doing weddings and let's say you make 10 or 20 weddings. Each wedding will bring, let's say, between $300 to $600 to $800 extra in what people purchase, depending on the clientele too, because in some regions people may be more kind of leaning towards just buying prints. In some other areas they may be leaning towards buying canvases and large enlargements and maybe albums even, right? So it will be different. And that's really what it is. So in the end, if you do 10, 20 weddings, you may end up with $5,000 extra, 10 grand extra. So it really depends on the better you get at this game, the more money you will make through the store and through selling your photos. Before we talk about photos, I always wanted to mention, because a lot of photographers forget. So it's like, remember, there's two parts to this game. One is when you load images to the gallery and you send it out to the client, and basically the client gets the link, they go in there, and then they have an option to purchase, download, whatever options. We'll talk about it in a second. The other option is when you kind of give them a white glove sort of experience. This is where like you have consultation with them before the wedding, then you have a wedding, then you have a special meeting session dedicated. It's a lot of times it's called a reveal, where you show them the actual product. It's called an in-person sales approach, which is basically when you sort of guide the entire experience from the moment when you sit down with them. Show them a little like a slideshow, something with music, something that will evoke emotions. Usually, you walk the clients through it. You show them like a nicest version of, let's say, their album that has whatever 50 spreads, and then if they want to buy 30 spreads, they have to cut down, which is kind of very difficult after you just got, super emotional about the wedding. You're reliving it in your head, and now you have to eliminate things. So, this is, I'll be drinking a lot of water. So in-person sales, different approach. Today, we're focusing on just gallery and prints. But I always like to mention it. In-person sales, emotional, high-pressure environment where you're sitting with the client. Photographers guide every decision, higher average order value first, and then they have to cut down. With online galleries, client shops on their own. They're at home in their own environment. Emotion fades, and strategy matters at that point. There's a lower friction, and broader reach. So maybe there's not so much pressure on the client buying, but at the same time, they can forward the link to family members and friends, and there's opportunity to like monetize, not just with the client as they're sitting in your office or studio, but also you can get money from family members and friends. And again, I always say set realistic expectations. Gallery sales require a system, not just a link. And when I say system, it's a link, but like you kind of have to understand, you have to have a strategy and plan on what you are planning on doing in terms of making those files available for sale. So you'll understand in a second what I mean, but just in a nutshell, you can sell files, you can sell bundles of the files, 5, 10, 20, 200, all of the files. You can sell files in addition to products, so you can combine them. You can build packages. Maybe you can build a package of like, here's an album and an enlargement and some digital files. So you have different ways you can control it differently inside Pixieset. To monetize, to make more money, right? Obviously, if they buy packages, more products, you make more money. How do we do that? We basically price the individual files a little higher, so when they start stacking up more and more and more digital files to purchase, it actually makes more sense to go towards packages. Hopefully it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, guess what? Leave me a question in the comments, and we can tackle this subject kind of separately. So you now understand the difference between online gallery and in person. And I wanted to cover, like when I talk about different packages, different ways, I wanted to like cover 3 examples just so you can visualize what it may look like. So first strategy is free digital files to the couple. I'm going to focus on weddings because that's, majority of my work. But it could be free for the couple, the bride and groom, and paid for the guests or family members, or however you want to do it. You can basically designate in Pixieset who has free access just to download and who has to pay. So pretty straightforward. I say here, primary clients get full access, so the couple downloads everything, no friction, no barriers, deliver an exceptional experience. When they buy a package, they may ask, like, do we get the files? Sure, you get the files. And then you basically say, yeah, but like family members, because they only buy a few files from us, we always, like, in order for you to like offer you guys a better price, we always ask, can you share the files? Because we make up the cost later on. Everybody buys 2-3 files that they want for their house. It's not a big deal. They spend $10-20, but over, if it adds up to maybe $300-400, which you guys don't have to pay. And the couples has no problem doing that because it's a win-win situation. You make more, they save, and their family members get really nice pictures for like friction of the price because they didn't have to pay, 3, 4, 5 grand to get those photos. So it's a win-win-win situation. Family and friends become buyers in that scenario, and guests can browse but must pay to download. They're motivated. They want these photos, and it's cool because it's quick and they have a nice version of the files edited right because it's part of the original stack. And then pros and limitations. So low setup effort because you already have everything in a gallery. Passive revenue potential. It's not really passive because you have to do all this work, but we say passive because work is kind of done. The client, everything is delivered. Now it's just sitting there, and like over time, you will see the money trickles in. So don't think of it as like a big rush of people going through the gallery. Usually it's like month, 2, 3, sometimes even longer. Somebody goes in, they get the link, and they start, just purchasing stuff. So that's strategy number 1. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, strategy number 2 is a tiered packages that sell. So you can basically sell digital files only, high resolution downloads, instant delivery, entry level price point for budget conscious clients. You can either you can limit your clients, including your bride and groom, to download certain amount of files for free if you want to incentivize them, and then they pay for the rest. So it's full control. You have full control over that. But you can also build packages, meaning you can sell, like I mentioned before, 10 files, 25 files, 50 files, 100 files. So it's entirely up to you. And then you can combine it also with products. So when you have it, whether it's self-fulfillment, like you're printing the files, or in most cases lab, they can pay for downloading the files. So part of the package is, let's say, 10 or 15 files or 20 files and some prints, right? That's part of the package. So downloads bundled with a print credit, a natural upsell that adds real value. Obviously, you make more money. And then premium collection that contains more than just digital and prints. It usually has albums or wall art, and full downloads. Your highest margin, most memorable offering. So you can see how this is really a combination of things that they buy by themselves. Less is more. 3 clear tiers outperform a menu of 10 options. Remember that it's this paradox of choice. There's actually a book that's titled Paradox of Choice. And the more options we see, the harder it gets. That's one of the reasons why we have 3 types of guests, not 11. So that's really what it is. Remember that when building your packages. And then strategy number 3, make premium prints the star. This is what I'm talking about, in-person sales. This is the gallery as a showcase. So you can actually, in software, in IPS software, you can focus on your best images, build something like this, visuals that show images on the wall. When clients come in, they see some sort of a highlight reel. They get all excited. It's usually with the music. Sometimes you can play another couple picking up their album. It just, everything is about around building excitement for the client. You show them the mock-up images. Gallery is a showcase, present images in curated print-ready layout that makes clients feel the wall art potential, because that's really what they're buying. So they're not buying convenience and files. They're looking at something and seeing this sort of what do I want to call it? Do I have it here? Present images, preliminary format, a client feel the wall potential, lead with premium feature, your best prints front and center, anchor pricing high, then let clients choose down. This is with what we do with albums. So we basically show them bigger albums and then we cut down. And when this wins, print focused strategies outperform downloads when clients value heirlooms over convenience. That's what I knew I had it in here. So when they see this sort of layout on a wall, demonstration, presentation, they're more likely to, it almost, I mean, when you look at the image, even it looks like a furniture set, right? It's something that's going to be on the wall. It's something that the family can inherit. This is something that they're purchasing in, knowing that who's going to look at the files, maybe at one point when everybody's excited, and then it sort of fades away. With this thing, they know it's an investment because it's going to hang on a wall for a very, very long time. So it's totally different mental approach when clients are buying. And then next thing is download permissions and gallery access. So now we're going to be talking about, let me go through the sort of like screenshots that I have here, and then I'm going to walk you through the actual like demo inside. So precise control every time. You can assign by email where you have specific people get specific access. You can set download permissions. So it's either full download or limited or none. Maybe you can just set up for viewing and they have to purchase anything else. And then guest access, it's either view only or purchase only modes, which is pretty cool. Different users, different experiences, and it's all from the same gallery. So all those settings are in there, which is really really cool. The reality of file sharing, you have to understand it. It's all about trust. It's all about being transparent with your client. It's not trying to like prevent and build a wall, because what happens is like clients will act like if you have kids, you know that the higher wall you build, the higher they jump. And same thing will be with clients. I am always transparent with clients, and I basically say, hey, listen guys, this is how it is. We're trying to accommodate you. You're saving money, like the story I said before. The prints for them are super, affordable. If you want to include your parents for the free downloads, we'll do that. But like anybody else, need to pay for their prints. So hopefully that works. And I got to tell you, if they really want to go around you, they can. But what you cannot control is clients sharing download links, because they can share it with anybody. Screenshots and screen recordings, right? I mean, they can do that on their computers. Social media reposts without credit. And what you can do is add subtle watermarks to proof your images. You can set gallery expiration dates if you don't want to keep it there forever. And educating clients at delivery is exactly that conversation that you're going to have with your clients, telling them exactly why you have it set up this way. The best protection is great client relationship and clear communication, not technical locks alone. So don't try to like play this game. Just be honest and transparent with your clients, and it always works. um and then as far as labs, because I mentioned labs, the popular labs, how can you connect? I'll walk you through and show you where like you set the price sheet and how you connect the lab. So, but basically, the principle is you connect a print lab like White House Custom Color, Bay Photo, MPix, all the popular ones are there. And then you set your markup, which is going to be this is usually when photographers are like, yeah, but how much do I charge? The nice thing about Pixieset is that they actually track data, and depending on where you are, when you set your pricing guide, just go with the default. Just go with what they are offering, because they actually test what sells well in your area for a specific product. So you're not guessing. It's data driven approach. Of course, you can control it. You can go higher, you can go lower, but they sort of set an optimal pricing level. So, and what do I mean by that? If you price too high, you'll get less sales, right? So you may be making more money on print, but you'll get less sales. If you price too low, on the other hand, whatever sales you're getting, you're maybe making less money. So like that's why this optimal approach is good. And I would say always try it with 2-3 weddings. I always say try with as many as you can. The reality is, if you go and test for about 3-4 months, I don't know, depending on how busy you are, you'll eventually see what price works with your client and your specific region. So then the last step is collect the difference. So receive margin after lab costs and shipping. The nice thing is, you basically, how does that work? They get the gallery, they order the prints, you get the money, they get the product shipped to them. You're not involved. Pretty straightforward stuff. It's actually pretty nice. It's nicely packaged, so it's premium product. Looks great. And then test, measure, improve every gallery. That's exactly what I said. 3-4 months, try it out, and it's not really time; it's iterations. So if you try, it's better to test with 10 weddings than 5 weddings. But I'm not telling you what to do. You will you will test and try and kind of see how it goes. And then I think this was actually the last. Yep, this was the last slide. So let's go in and kind of take a look at what it looks like in Pixieset. You will have to go to an option here called Store. So you go to a store, and the first thing that you have to do, there's actually 2 things you have to worry about. So one is you have to set your prices, and 2, you have to connect it to your Stripe or PayPal account, whichever one you use. So I'm going to actually start with step number 2 and just show you when I click on Setup Checkout. Mine is connected to Stripe. You basically just hit Get Started, and it will ask you for your Stripe account and all the validation steps. Pretty straightforward. You'll get it. You have probably connected Stripe to other places. So just follow the steps, and you'll be fine. And then the review product. I have White House Custom Color here, price sheet, just an example. But if you go to add price sheet, you can give it a name. Automatic fulfillment. This is self fulfillment. I've talked about it before. And then you have advanced options. There's some options you can set here, but basically, let me see. Automatic fulfillment. Okay, automatic fulfillment. I skipped a step. Very important. I'm like, where's the lab information? So you give it a name. Let's say I wanted to do MPix, because you can connect to more than one lab. Because for the client, then you define which lab they will go to. But let's say I wanted to go with MPix as my second option that I could choose from to maybe send another client to, just because maybe you're testing. So MPix. Automatic fulfillment, and here it says choose a specific lab. And you have Pro, DPI, Millers, and MPix. I'll choose MPix. And here's that option: use recommended pricing. So just leave it there and then go create. And now when I go back to price sheets, you see that I have two labs connected: White House Custom Color, MPix. You can see the difference. MPix only have 12 products available. So they have prints, they have wall art, and they have no, they actually don't. They only have prints and they only have wall art. They don't offer cards. Then they don't offer albums and books. So that's important. If this is something you want to offer, if you go to White House Custom Color, you'll see that they have prints, they have wall art, they have cards, they have albums. So MPix could be good. Maybe it's just for prints and enlargements, but like maybe you have a book company that you work with, and you can kind of go that route. So again, it's your preference, your choice. But here now we're done. So we did set up a price sheet. Let's go back to the store. We did set up the price sheets, and we did link the account to Stripe. And the very next step is inside your client's gallery. So I'm just going to pick from one of my galleries here. If I go to this one, Kelly and Victor, for example, under settings, can you guys see my mouse right there? Under settings, where my mouse is, you click on settings and you go under this option, store, the very last one. And this is where you enable the store. So if I disable it, my client, if I go to their gallery and refresh it, so this is typically what my clients, what they get right at the beginning. Okay, this is the gallery that they receive, right? When I send out a link, they click view gallery. There is no option to order prints when the store is disabled. When I now go back and enable the store option, and if I refresh their gallery, they have a print store. And they can go to the print store directly, but they can also start viewing images. So if I hit an image, it says there's an option to buy photo, at which point when they hit buy photo, the store is automatically there. I have the photo on the side. It automatically pulls in images from their wedding, which is cool. And then they can select between prints, wall art, cards, albums, and books. Prices, like I said, already pre-assigned, tested by White House Custom Color. So it's pretty straightforward stuff. But then let's go back here for a second. So let's talk about options, because I talk about restrictions and how you set it up. Store status, this is where you turn it on. Price sheet, this is where I said you can control. I can switch them to MPix. I can switch them to White House Custom Color, right? So two different options. And then personalized product preview, this is where your images are being pulled into the store. So it's not like generic images they're looking for, which we don't want to do that. We want them to be excited and just kind of see the visualization of their stuff. So I would like to leave it on. It's up to you what you're going to do. A product preview photo, automatically select photos for personalized products. You can select, sometimes you may have in your collection photos that don't really look good on previews. I leave it in automatic and then it's like see the preview. If something is not working, I can then switch to like custom and play with that. But this one is fine. So this is basically where I set up the store. The other thing is download. I was talking about like limitations of what they can do. Photo download, you can enable the download here with the PIN and the password and the resolution. But under the advanced settings, you can say limit photo downloads, right? And how many can they download? So maybe you want to have people, be able to download 1, 2, 5 photos, but the rest they have to pay. This is where you would define this. Restrict download. I will disable that. Restrict download to specific context. This is where you add addresses. So if you want somebody to be able to download, they only these folks, only those addresses, maybe it's bride and groom and the parents, will be able to download. And you can restrict also which gallery they can download from. So you have a lot of options here. And that is not download photo. Hold on 1 second. Let me just set it back up. Restrict to specific context. No, I just want to leave it here. And actually, I will go back here because this is older gallery. So what I want to do is I don't want to mess them up here. Status store. Okay, so that's on. So I'll leave it the way it is. What else? The downloads, this, that. I think I'm forgetting something. Let me think. Labs, we did cover that. Downloads, we did cover that. Oh, packages. Packages. One other thing I wanted to show you. If you go to your price sheets and you go to your I will continue using White House custom color just because there's more products to choose from. You can see that I have an option like this is basically offering what the lab is offering. So that's pretty cool because you can hide the product, but you can offer all the products and clients can choose from what the lab is offering, which is cool. But you can also, when you're talking about combining digital files, downloads, and some sort of physical product, like I mentioned before, you can have, let's say, a package that sells 100 photos, wall art, and an album. You can design those, and this is where you would do it. So digital download, digital files are automatically delivered by Pixieset via secured link. So this is where you would do it. Package, I'm going to click on the package name, description. You can include images, package price, and then add product. And this is where you would add the product. So if I click on it, you can combine the print, you can combine, the canvas, you can combine an album, acrylic print, or whatever it is. So you can basically combine products together. And remember, if you want to combine digital and printed products, first you have to design a digital package where you have I hope you follow. I know I'm going quick, but first you have to add a digital product and single photo or all photos. So there's a way to control that. Description, high resolution, original, because you can set the resolution. Maybe you don't want to say the resolution that's too high, but you can have single or all photos, let's say. So they have an option to buy that, and I'm gonna call it, just because I would like to use it, price. Let's say I'm gonna say just $100, or actually let me just set it to like 250, and go save. And now I have this package available without a photo, but you can add the photo later. And now if I go and combine a package, I should have add product. I should have the download products here. So I can now combine the ability for them to download, they purchase that, and I can combine the other printed canvases, wall art, albums. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions on that, remember, let me know. Reach out in the comments, and I will try to answer all the questions. By the way, I just wanted to flash one more time the option for you guys, because in terms of contacting me, you can either use the QR code or the school community. There's also, if you scan the QR code, you'll get access to my DM through Facebook. You can reach out that way and ask questions, and I'm sure I can help you out with that. When I work with other photographers on like setting it up and figuring out the whole strategy, we usually start with DM, and then probably hop on the call and just try to see, like, what is it that you need to do, and we start there and work out some sort of an arrangement if you need additional help. Otherwise, I hope that this was helpful. If, like I said, I'm not going to repeat myself, you know where to find me. This was it for today. I survived. My voice is still there. Once again, I apologize for the quality today. Hopefully next week will be better. But I hope this was helpful. I'll see you guys next week, Thursday, around the same time. 1-ish, 2-ish. You know the deal. See you next time. Bye.